Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the UBC, the United Battle Championship, Season 4, Week number 6, and we're taking on the Tampa Zygarde 10's and Isolate, um, also known by his showdown name Ace Ice 254. Um, and of course, we are Zamcrow, aka Scoop, coach of the Blackmont Cougars. Pretty sure I already introduced myself. Um, that being said, we have an interesting matchup this week. The teams were, well, my team's very offensive, his team's very offensive, and we look like we both brought a lot of offense. His team consisting of Weavile, Suicune, Nidoqueen, Goodra, Snorlax, Fortress, Mega Medicham, Diancie, Moltres, Hoopa, and Electrode, and I think the Weavile, Moltres, and Hoopa are available to hold Z crystals. Pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. Um, yeah, I'm correct on that. And then, of course, my team is Victini, Zapdos, Gyarados, Mamoswine, Cobalion, Shaman, Ditto, Scrafty, Golurk, Swellow, and, of course, Mega Gardevoir, the main bitch. And my Z Crystal holders can be Zapdos, Gyarados, or Shaman. That being said, we bring a few standard mons and then a few heat mons. Literal heat. We'll get into the team builder here well, I'm not going to show you my team builder, but I'm going to explain my team. I have the Choice Scarf Victini with U-Turn, V-Create, Zen Headbutt, and Trick. Adamant Nature, Max Attack, 228 EVs in speed, so I hit 293. Forgot what I speed creep, but it's definitely has to do with something. Just forgot what it was. 24 EVs in HP and 4 in defense. And yeah, so this thing just basically is able to outspeed Weavile if it's not Choice Scarf and knock it out with V-Create. Knocks out the Nidoqueen with Zen Headbutt. Does little to nothing to Suicune. Knocks out the Mega Medicham with V-Create. Does about half to a max HP Moltres. Does nothing to Snorlax again. But of course I can trick on my Scarf if the Weavile's gone. And maybe, yeah, I guess that's it. Because I expect Mega Medicham to be Adamant Nature. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's some other things, but uh, like for instance, Fortress and Hooper are dropped by V-Create. Electrodes dropped by V-Create, but of course he didn't bring those, so I'm not really going to go over the mons he didn't bring, except for when I talk about my Shaman. Next up, we got Mamoswine Choice Man set with Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, and Ice Shard. Jolly Nature just to enough speed EVs to outspeed Nidoqueen, and then 32 EVs in HP just so I can, switch into rocks a few more times if I have to. That being said, next up is Cobalion. Got the Sugar Berry here. Enough speed to outspeed base 100s, max attack, and the rest dumped in HP with the Sugar Berry so I can live like an Earthquake from Snorlax and Earth Power from Nidoqueen, which are the mons he brought. I'm sure there's, like Goodra gets Earthquake, I believe, and Diancie gets Earth Power, but of course he didn't bring those. I do have the Close Combat and the Iron Head to hit everything on his team for at least neutral damage, minus the Moltres. I have Taunt as well, so that Snorlax, Curselax isn't a problem, and Calm Mind Suicune isn't a problem. And I can also taunt the Nidoqueen if he leads with it. I don't think I'm going to lead Nidoqueen. I don't think I'm going to lead Cobalion in this matchup in particular, because then it becomes a 50-50 if he leads Mega Medicham, because I do have the Protect, and I don't want to Protect on turn 1 as he goes for Fake Out, predicting the high jump kick, and he actually goes for Fake Out, and then not be able to Protect on the next turn. So I don't think I'm going to lead with, I'd rather just take the Fake Out damage with with Victini. Next up is Mega Gardevoir, another Calm Mind set, except this time I rock Encore, so I can Encore Suicune into Calm Mind, I can Encore Nidoqueen into Rocks, I can Encore Mega Medicham into Fake Out. I can Encore, providing he doesn't have Bullet Punch, but of course he should, in my opinion. Adamant Nature Bullet Punch does a lot to Mega Diancie. I can Encore Snorlax and Moltres into like Roost and Rest or Rest Talk or something, and set up Calm Minds alongside whatever they're encored into, and then Hyper Voice and Psyshock just literally shreds his team, provided that Weavile isn't like a banded Poison Jab or something. Maybe Life Orb Poison Jab does a lot. I don't know if it kills, because like he needs a lot of coverage to hit my team. Next up is where the heat comes in, literal heat. I do have the Whatmail Berry, Natural Gift, Fire, Shaman, Swords Dance, Seed Bomb, and Zen Headbutt. It's actually a bulky Shaman though, with enough speed to outspeed, I think, I forget what it is. I don't think it outspeeds any of his team if they're max speed though. The mons that he brought anyway. And max defense and a lot of HP investment with just a little bit of attack investment. And yeah, so basically I want to set up rocks and force Fortress to come in and spin. And I can set up a Swords Dance. As Fortress comes in to spin, I assume it would come in on like a Leech Seed or like a Seed Flare or something. And then I can hit him with the Natural Gift and eliminate it. So that's pretty heat, in my opinion. Literal fire type coverage on Shaman. So next up we have another sort of heat set with the Yachi Berry Zapdos. Modest Nature, max special attack, enough speed to outpace the Nidoqueen. The rest of it dumped in HP, 88 EVs, and then 4 dumped in defense because needed odd number of HP, and it helps a little bit against the Icicle Crash, provided that I still have my Yachi Berry. I got the Agility, Thunderbolt, Extra Sensory, and Heat Wave. Gives me at least neutral coverage against this team. Extra Sensory for the Nidoqueen only, and Heat Wave for the Fortress only. But again, it has a better chance of knocking out the Weavile, especially after Rocks, and especially after Life Orb than Thunderbolt does. Now, if he is really low, though, maybe half, I will go for Thunderbolt and knock him out to pick off the Weavile instead of risking a 10% miss, because that would suck really bad. Anyways, we'll hop into the battle here. Sorry about that. Hop into the battle here. He does lead with Moltres, so I'm assuming this is, he wanted to lead with this, predicting either my Cobalion or my Mamoswine to set up rocks. Also, potentially a good lead versus my Shaman, if for some reason I wanted to lead Shaman. But he did have Nidoqueen that would lead with rocks or Toxic Spikes, or Mega Medicham with the Fake Out. So I decided to lead with Victini, and then he leads with this. So I'm just going to U-turn out. No reason to risk anything here. And he does hard switch into Snorlax, showing that Snorlax is probably his hard counter to Victini. Now, if I was special with like Focus Blast or something, it would be problematic for him if I just straight up went for it right there. And then it would obviously probably be a 2-hit KO, because that looks like max defense. Anyways, I go into Cobalion here, and I'm just going to fire off I think Iron Head, or I think it's Close Combat, because it was just the safest play. I see hard switches into Moltres. Now here's where things get interesting. I don't really have a switch in for anything, since my team is very, very, very offensive. Actually, I don't have, all my mons are offensive, except Shaman. It's a little bit defensive, but it has an offensive moveset. That being said, I'm going to hard switch into my Zapdos, knowing that if he goes for a flying type move, it does nothing. He actually goes for a Will-O-Wisp though, so I'm burned now. That's unfortunate, because you'll see why in a second. But of course, I would not ever hope for him to miss a Will-O-Wisp. Anyways, I know he doesn't want to take a Thunderbolt, and that Moltres is a pretty good switch in to Shaman and Mega Gardevoir, provided that I'm not set up. So I'm going to predict him to switch out into his Nidoqueen. I'm going to go straight for the Extra Sensory, and he actually reveals to be Payapa Berry. So I'm going to pop that and then be able to hit him up with another Extra Sensory, which has it's like a 50% chance to KO from here, depending on his investment. I believe I can do at least 74%. I mean, maximum of 74% and like a minimum of 63% or something like that. But I get a decent roll, 65%. That's okay with me, I guess. Only bad thing is I'm taking burn damage, and that if Weavile comes in after, it can hit me up with the icicle crash and put me in range to die from the burn, which is unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and pick him off with the extra sentry here to maybe convince him that I'm maybe locked into something and bait the Weavile to come out and pretend that I don't have the Yachi Berry. And he actually does bring the Weavile out, so this is working out perfect for me. I'm just going to throw off the heat wave here, and I do live, but I am in range of, barely in range of the burn to take me out. Take out the Weavile though, so Zapdos has already put in the work, taking out two huge threats to my team in my opinion, and die to the burn there. I'm bringing Mega Gardevoir here because he didn't lead with Mega Medicham, so I don't expect him to have Fake Out. So I bring in Mega Gardevoir here knowing that I can eat up one Bullet Punch and knock him out with Hyper Voice, and that I match up well against Suicune, Moltres, and Snorlax, provided that that I know Snorlax isn't choice banded, and I know that Suicune isn't a lefty set. So I don't think I know that yet. So we'll get into that in a little bit though. I'm just going to fire off a Calm Mind right here because I need it to 2-hit KO. Well, I think I 2-hit KO regardless, but I was hoping for an Oko right here after the Calm Mind. You see he does 23%, so if I had sub right here, it would be very, very great, but I don't. I wish I did bring sub Calm Mind because I would set up a sub right here immediately, and he would not be able to break it. And I go for the Side Shock and don't get the knockout, which is unfortunate because it was a roll, and he gets the burn here, which is very unfortunate because if you can see the screen here, I'm at 42%, meaning that I can switch out and come back into the rocks and still be at 30%, able to take 2 Scalds from Suicune, unless it is, max special attack. And that's unfortunate because Gardevoir would be forced out by Mega Medicham if it comes in next, and then takes burn damage, so I'm at 29%. When I switch out and come back in, I would be at 17% or something like that. So that's why that's important. But I'm going to hard switch into Cobalion here, predicting the Fake Out or the Bullet Punch. It does go straight for the Bullet Punch, so again, I don't think he has Fake Out, and that comes into play later in the match. But we'll keep going here. Excuse me. I'm going to reveal the tech here, Protect, the actual tech. And he goes for the high jump kick and misses. Loses 49% of his HP, which is what Protect was there on my Cobalion for. Thought it was a good bring. Always bring at least 1 or maybe sometimes 2 or 3 Mons with Protect versus a team with Mega Medicham, just because the thing is a fucking threat. It is so potent, especially in format when you can predict what your opponent's going to have. I'm going to sack off my Gardevoir here, and he actually misses a high jump kick. And I knew he had the chance to miss, but I didn't expect him to miss, especially after I revealed the Protect there, and he did miss. Fortunate for me, he does miss. I don't think it's that big of a deal though. The only thing that changes is that he can no longer take a hit from Cobalion, which with his investment, we talked after the match, with his investment, Ironhead does a maximum of 50%, and he would have been at 51%, so he could easily live an Ironhead hit. But it actually doesn't come into play. I don't think my Cobalion even gets a chance to hit him. And I am just sacking my Gardevoir here, so I will just allow him to go down to the Bullet Punch. Very sorry you missed the high jump kick, bro. Anyways, now bringing my Cobalion again, knowing I can knock him out with the Ironhead. I actually should click Close Combat here because it knocks out and it does more damage to Suicune and Snorlax. But I thought 100% that I had the match in the bag, so I actually just click Ironhead and I start making a few misplays here. I go for Taunt. Very stupid. I should have hard switched into Shaman because he goes for the Scald, does like 30%, and gets the burn. So now my Cobalion has just become severely, severely weakened. And when I say severely, I mean severely. I should have went for the close combat, and I should have hard switched into my Shaman right there. Misplays on my part, probably going to cost me the match. And then I hard switch into Shaman, and now if he gets the burn, it's even worse on my part. He doesn't get the burn, thankfully, though. And now we can throw off a Seed Bomb here and just gauge the damage, sort of. After a Swords Dance, of course. Got to show off my heat. I'm not going to be able to show off the natural gift because, of course, Snorlax and Suicune both resist, and it would be a waste to go. Oh, I guess I could show it off on Shaman. I mean, Mega Medicham, but really no point in my opinion. He does throw off the Toxic, and then rests off my Seed Bomb damage. I guess, in theory, I could go for a few more Seed Bombs, but I don't want to get too weakened to where I can't switch in on Suicune and Mega Medicham. I mean, not switch in on Mega Medicham, but you know what I'm saying. I switch into Victini here so I can maybe throw off a Trick, but I debated very, very long and hard about this turn. If I went for Trick and he switched into Suicune, I just lose. Because Shaman's beat by Snorlax, and then Suicune beats the rest of my team with Choice Scarf Scald. And if I Trick and he goes into Mega Medicham on a sack, then I'm locked into that, and I have to switch, and something dies to High Jump Kick. So ultimately, I decided to go for U-turn, which ends up being a misplay because he does stay in. And it's going to actually cause problems later in the match. He goes for the Sleep Talk, gets the rest, doesn't matter. Cobalion can't really touch it since I'm burned, and he's max defense. Or something along the lines of max defense. I do go for the taunt here to make sure that he can't Sleep Talk again, and he can't rest again. Or throw off another Toxic when I switch into my Shaman. But going to my Shaman as he brings in the Suicune after it is taunted. He hard switches back into a Snorlax, and here what I want to do is I want to get Shaman back in after he goes for a rest, so I can set up a lot of Swords Dances. He wakes up, goes for the return as I switch into my Cobalion, and I take literally nothing from that being a resisted hit and me having a little HP investment. I'm going to click Close Combat here just to get damage on the incoming Suicune. I know he's going to switch, and this damage is important. Even if it is a little bit, it is chip, and he's not leftovers, so every chip matters. Because now after a U-turn, maybe after an Icicle Crash or an Ice Shard, I don't see myself clicking an Ice move with Mamoswine. I go for the U-turn here to get that extra bit of chip, because now if I get 2 high rolls with Zen Headbutt, Suicune is knocked out later in the match, which is important. Just U-turn into Shaman after I get that chip. I'm going to force him to hard switch into his Snorlax because he doesn't want to take a Seed Bomb, and I double into Mamoswine. And this is important because Shaman becomes a sack now. I died to rocks now. So that's another reason I made this double, is because he knew I died to rocks, so I don't think he thought that I would make the double switch there. And yeah, so if he goes for Scald here or anything that's not a switch in a Snorlax, I think I'll lose. But I needed to make this play after, misplaying to the point to where I was behind. So now I needed to make a play, and this was the play that I would have been waiting for this. And yeah, he can't take 2 Earthquakes. And he does reveal that he's pretty strong Snorlax. Can't take 2 Earthquakes though. And now if he brings in Mega Medicham, I can sack off my Shaman. If he brought in Suicune, I believe that I would just click Earthquake. Has a decent chance to, well, if he's max HP, it's a roll. If I get the maximum roll, he would be knocked out. But if I got a low roll, he would live and kill me. But even then, Victini would just clean up. But he does bring in his Mega Medicham, so I am going to just sack off my Shaman here. I do die to rocks. Even though this thing's a beast, it doesn't get a beast boost, so I do need to sack my Shaman there. Nah, just kidding. And here I bring in my Victini. Now, I can't U-turn. because I'll be at 1% when I come back in. My play here is to go for Zen Headbutt and try to get high rolls on the Suicune. If I get good rolls on the Suicune, I can potentially knock it out. If I get if I get a 25 and a 26% roll, which is possible, I can knock him out. But if I get one mid or low roll, I probably just lose, unless he doesn't go for Bullet Punch against my Mamoswine in a second. But I am just going to go for the Zen Headbutt, and he's at 52%, and I get a 23% roll. So now, unless I get a critical hit or a flinch, I just lose, I do believe. I'm just going to go for the Zen Headbutt again. It is my only play, and I do flinch him. So Victini coming through there with the flinch. Now I have to Zen Headbutt again, which it's my only play, of course. And I'm able to knock out the Suicune. And now Mega Medicham comes in. And like I said throughout the whole match, I do not think he has Fake Out. If he does, props to him. He played great, and he deserves the win here. But if he does not have the Fake Out like I predict, I am going to be able to knock him out, because even a critical hit, Bullet Punch from an Adamant nature, Mega Medicham cannot knock me out. So that being said, we will go ahead and finish this battle here. He does do 12% with the Bullet Punch. I do not miss my Zen Headbutt, and we pick up the 2-0 victory. An ugly match, I'm not going to lie, but good game to you, Ice. You played well after getting caught off guard by a few of my sets like Zapdos and Cobalion. Having Protect. Good game, man, and hope you have a great rest of the season. Now we set our eyes towards Ontario Almastars and Vampire. So we'll see you guys in week 7. If you like, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Leave comments in the comment section on, maybe sets, what you thought about the sets, what you thought about the plays, what you thought about the matchup, what you would have did different, what you would have did the same, if anything. Yeah, so you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.